Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Welcome to Forget Work, Watch Films with your hosts, Tony Howe, Thomas Connors, and Robert Connors.
Welcome everyone to another edition of Forget Work, Watch Film. I'm your host this week, my name's Tony. With me are my two very special friends. With me I've got Tom.
Hey.
And I've got Rob.
Hi everybody, it's been a while.
He's just enjoying one of my birthday buns. Sorry we've been away, but sometimes you can't always forget work. I've been off training for my new job, which allow me to spend more time watching films. So one washes the other one's hand, ergo.
Would you say the last podcast we did was like last year?
Yes, it was. Yeah, it were. It were a year ago, and now we're in 2020, the future.
2020.
So, as I just mentioned, my birthday buns. So yesterday was my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
The year I was born was 1974.
I thought you were going to say the new Sam Mendes film.
No.
1917.
No. And the films out that year, I'm not going to ask you to guess because you wouldn't have a clue, you two. You weren't even a sprinkle in your dad's eye.
I could guess.
Go on.
Hope. What year?
1974, what films were out? Were released that year?
1978, I think.
So we got Godfather Part 2, James Bond, Man with a Golden Gun, one of my personal faves, if one of not the best ones, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Death Wish, and his all-time favourite, Black Christmas.
Black Christmas.
And best picture that year?
I don't know. What?
The Sting.
Oh, that's that Top Gear film, isn't it?
Top Gear film. What
Isn't
are
it
you
like
on
that
about?
Western type? Not
It's,
Western.
no, Robert Redford. Where they do that?
For a second I thought you said the Stig.
So anyway, my birthday, started thinking about birthdays. We've had topics Christmas, we've had topics Halloween. What birthday films are there out there? And I struggled with this.
Oh, that new one, Happy Death Day, that's just been out.
So does that count? Because obviously we did do a lot of Christmas films, do a lot of Halloween films. What birthday films do they do? I seriously could not.
Are you saying there's a gap in the market?
Well, I could seriously. There were no. I was scratching my head.
There's got to be one.
There is. I looked it up, but they're all rate obscure. Rate obscure, like about. It's like straight onto Asda's DVD chart.
Yeah.
A couple I got, which are around about birthdays. Child's Play.
Yeah.
But it's not particularly about birthdays, is it?
He
But
gets
obviously it's
chippy for
about
his
his
birthday.
birthday, gets a present. Lord of the Rings.
Is it?
Whose birthday?
Bilbo's birthday. That's
Oh, where they throw that big bash.
Big
through.
bash.
Right, I know you can't call Lord of the Rings a birthday. I know what you're saying.
21 and over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, would we count that?
That's with Miles Teller, isn't it?
Uncle
Is it?
Buck.
I watched that other week. That film's brilliant.
That's a big thing. But there's no. I think 21 and over probably is the closest one to like a birthday film because it's about him becoming.
Have you googled this then?
Yeah,
Because I'm.
because I struggled. I was just thinking to myself, what birthday films is there? And no come to mind.
Well, I'm
not
trying to-
one film.
Rack my brains, but I don't think there's any
I'm
point.
thinking about Uncle Buck now.
Yeah,
Why are you asking so many questions? I'm a kid, that's my job.
such a good film. And obviously from that, he got Job for Home Alone.
Yeah, because it came before, didn't it?
You know, I was thinking to myself the other day, you know, sometimes I said this with Joker. I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but you know sometimes in a movie they catch a moment that can only happen sort of that time. So you know Joker when he's on stairs and stuff, brilliant. But you know a film like Uncle Buck, you've got scenes with John Candy, who's gone now, and Macaulay Culkin, who's a child, who's now an adult. That's like
I thought you were going to tell me Macaulay Culkin had gone now.
no. Well, he's not done anything in a while.
But
that's something that can't be recreated, is it? Do you know what I mean? Classics like that.
But they are classic films.
There's a scene in Uncle Buck at the one towards the end where he goes, he crashes that party, doesn't he?
Yeah.
To find his niece
Drill
upstairs.
lock
And he drills lock and door opens and he's there with drill.
But there's a bit where
It's
he's going
immense.
round and some lad switches hats with him. And he's like
Yeah.
dancing, and then realises that lad switched his hat. There's loads of good bits in that. Loads of classic, like when he knocks Clown out at birthday party.
Yeah.
Or when he makes them massive flapjacks in morning, the massive pancakes. And they've all come down and go,
He
I might watch that
was
soon.
brilliant in him, wasn't he?
that film is excellent. Absolutely brilliant. So, just to finish, I don't want to keep talking about my birthday all the time, but we have said we're going to have a trip out and watch Bad Boys 3. So, are we looking forward to Bad Boys 3?
I've seen the reviews, yeah, but if you'd have asked me a few weeks ago, I'd have said no, because like
Right.
I always say, Will Smith at the minute, he's on a downward spiral. He's had to look at his film choices and reassess his decisions. So you tell me the last film he did that made mega money.
Well, Aladdin, that's his highest.
So
grossing.
he picked
See,
Aladdin.
see-
No, he did. It's
No,
the
I
most
know he
successful
did.
film of his career. He picked Aladdin because he knew it would guarantee to be a success because the original Aladdin was a hit. And he's picked
But
Bad Boys 3 because he knows that territory is also going to be a hit. All these other films are shit.
But I don't count that as a Will Smith film.
Well, I've tried
where
saying
where
this.
I'm saying that he's
not the lead.
He's not the one that's driving
He's
it.
a supporting character.
Like you look at what was it, Gemini Man.
I ain't seen it.
I haven't seen it. That their film's driven by him.
Yeah.
To me, Aladdin is, even though he's a massive part of it, is a supporting cast member. It's like saying that the original Aladdin is a Robin Williams film.
Can I
It's
just-
not driven by him.
Does
He's
it-
just
well,
part of a support.
Can you
He's
tell-
part of a cast.
Yeah.
There's a radio crew called The Breakfast Club. Have you seen it? You will have done it. It's like American Charlemagne the God and stuff. You know, they interview everybody. And Will Smith and Martin Lawrence were on the other day. And Charlemagne the God is known for just saying out, like, he says stuff that fans say. He's a bit of a dick. But
Yeah.
he says to Will Smith, he says, what do you say about all these people that say, oh, Will Smith sucks, Will Smith's having a dry spell, Will Smith's not the guy he was years ago who makes billions? And Will Smith says, well, yeah, I've come to realise that, but he's got to a moment now where it was upsetting him that much and he was struggling to make this, make these successful movies that people like, that he's now just decided to do films he enjoys. Which, a lot of people, Sam Jackson does that, doesn't he?
But don't you think that, has he not made enough money where he can do that?
Well,
Why
that's-
would you have to drive yourself
No, that's kind
to
of...
make,
yeah, it's
to
true.
make
No, you-
big... Do you know what I mean?
What you're saying is right, but at the same time, the films that he's making are just terrible. Like,
Yeah.
you can't even get to the end of them. Remember, although, is it After Earth?
Yeah.
With the M. Night Shyamalan film
Yeah,
that he
with
did
his
with his
son.
son. I went to cinema and I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it weren't great, but that was the start of his decline. And then he did another film called, was it Collateral Beauty, I think, where there were a few of them in it. Weren't great.
See, he's done a lot of films, surprisingly, over the last 5-10 years that have just disappeared. He did that
Focus.
Concussion, he did that Focus.
Terrible.
Joe, films that I have never seen and you forget about.
He's Sony. He's one of Sony's leading men. He's one of Sony's, you'd think, most bankable stars. And the films that they're providing for him and making for him are just not very good at all. If he were with another studio, he'd probably still be churning out good films.
And the thing is, he's too... you can't not like Will Smith. He's so likeable, isn't he? But I think with Bad Boys, what worries me is, so it's Bad Boys 3, he's Mike Lowry. You get to a point where you're watching a impression of Mike Lowry. Is it still going to feel like Bad Boys 3? Do you know what I mean?
See, the thing, I've watched trailer and Will Smith is actually not the worry for me.
Martin Lawrence.
Will Smith is actually the one that I know is going to just
Deliver.
put an old pair of trousers back on and jump back into it. Martin Lawrence, his voice sounds right laboured, and if you look at all posters and pictures for it, they don't look like Martin Lawrence looks on the screen. It's as though they photoshopped him to make him look younger and more sleek and stuff like that. I just think, why have you done that? Obviously, some people age better than others. Will Smith's aged well. Martin Lawrence might not have aged as well as Will Smith, but that's not his fault.
I did
is it?
see a clip of the film that they were promoting it with, and he did come across as right funny in it, Martin Lawrence.
He's brilliant. I love him.
They're walking along and they're about to do a bus, and Martin Lawrence says, "You know, Mike, we've been bad boys for a long time. Can't we be good men?" And Will Smith stops and goes, "Who's gonna sing that? Good man, good man. Who's gonna sing that?" And then he goes, "Well, Mike, maybe if you sung it like you meant it, it'd be good." And then he just like looks at him, and then it did look really funny.
They are brilliant together.
They never. The thing is with these films, though, I'm really looking forward to it. I want to see it, but the third one doesn't always hit the mark, because what you're saying is Rush Hour 1, Rush Hour 2, Rush Hour 3. Chris Tucker ain't Chris Tucker anymore.
No,
Jackie Chan is, but Chris Tucker ain't the same guy.
So it's like Martin Lawrence has become the Chris Tucker of that pair.
Well, we'll wait and see, because it's supposed to be really good, isn't it? Whereas Rush Hour 3 was universally panned.
It was terrible.
Same thing though, isn't it? What were other films and all? There's another thing where third and...
There's a lot of fun work.
You know these like buddy cop type films? There's been quite a few of them. Do you remember them? Shanghai Nights with Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson.
Well, it was
Shanghai Noon.
Yeah, which were basically because Rush Hour had done so well, so let's team Jackie Chan up with another American star.
They were good, that.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to Bad Boys 3, and we'll let you know what we think.
So, what did you think of Bad Boys 1 and Bad Boys 2? Because 1, seriously, is brilliant, except when Tia Leone walks on screen. Well, don't even walk on screen. Turn sound down. It's a voice. It grates on inside of my brain.
She talks to me like this.
It's worse than that. That don't irritate me. Trust me, you'll know when you're doing her voice.
She's even terrible in Jurassic Park 3, isn't she?
It's her voice. It's just...
Tell you what else she's awful in. Fun with Dick and Jane.
I've never seen it.
With Jim Carrey.
Never seen it.
It's awful. I watched it the other week. I've seen it before, but she is so bad in that film. I don't know what it is about her. But anyway, Bad Boys 1, right? It's almost like a Will Smith showcase, isn't it? He's in his up-and-coming prime. Like, it's his first big role as an action star, innit? It is brilliant.
They both are. Every scene. And then 2... To me, 2 takes it to another level. Some of the bits in 2, I mean, even some of the cinematography, the bit with a shootout when it's going round in circles, that is absolutely brilliant.
I remember going to cinema to see it, and my jaw were just all the way through. It were like, oh my god!
And then the bit where lad comes.
I thought the car chase scene in that along the bridge was one of the best car chases I've ever seen. In
where the bits are falling off, the bouncing off the
where camera points up, and you can see car fly above, and you see Martin Lawrence go like that, and then Martin Lawrence goes, "Did you see that? They're throwing cars. How am I not see that?"
The thing is, Jamaicans jump on that whole. That's the whole. It's the same scene. Jamaicans in the shootout. Jamaicans in the. It's all.
It's just and when
even end when they drive down favelas in Hummer.
Well,
that's brilliant.
It's the fact is that he goes, because I always thought it's a right weird film because it gets to a bit where they sort of like get him. Well, not get him. He escapes, and then you think it's sort of like an end. Then it just then goes to another level where they like. One. Where they then go to like where is it, Mexico or somewhere?
He's got Will Smith's sister, Will Smith's bird and his sister.
Let me attempt to sum these 2 films up. Bad Boys 1 is a classic 90s action movie.
Yeah.
But Bad Boys 2 is one of the top 5 of all time action movies.
Yeah.
Isn't it? 90s all over it, first one.
So tell you what I watched the other night. Well, me and Claire watched it, and it is that absolute classic Hot Fuzz.
Because
Yeah, you've seen Bad Boys 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that he's never seen it like that.
It's where they're going to
Saying-
stand up at camera speeds
and he
around
goes,
them.
and he goes, Point Break, Bad Boys 2. He says, what? Which one we're going to watch? No, which one we're going to watch first?
Yeah. Well,
Like
he
that.
goes, no!
Yeah, he's firing it in
You forget he's in it, don't you? Yarp?
Yeah. Hound.
The Hound from Game of
Looks
Thrones.
so different. Such a good film, that Hot Fuzz.
I love it in pub when he goes, you, when's your birthday? He goes, May. What year? Every year.
Out.
Yeah.
Seriously, that film is absolutely brilliant. But it is. That's because of their love of films like Bad Boys 2, because it's when he says, yeah, see Bad Boys 2?
I might
You've
watch
not
that
seen
again.
Bad
Boys 2?
That's part of the Cornetto trilogy, that.
Yeah. Have you ever shot a gun in the air?
Yeah.
No. Oh, have you ever shot a... He just keeps asking him questions. It is brilliant.
Yeah, it is.
So, Bad Boys 3, we're looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little visit to watch that out. So, what else you been watching? I've just said I've watched Hot Fuzz.
I'm trying to think of what I've watched
What
since
you watched
the
this
last
week.
Do you know what?
podcast.
Do you know what? It's been a while since last podcast, right? And when I arrived to do this particular podcast, Tony mocked me for looking like a homeless person. But
No, he didn't
I've
look like
actually-
a homeless person. He looked like somebody...
I thought today, don't
Look
worry,
like-
it's not exciting. In my breast pocket, I've just got a few things that I have watched because I thought there's no way I'm going to remember all this. So I'm going to start, right?
Does this mean he's not homeless?
no, he's been watching
paper
them.
in my
He's been
pocket.
watching them through a fruit window and comic. You don't know what sound of it.
You
but he's
said
seen them.
you said I look homeless, but I've
But
got paper in my pocket.
Where did you watch it? Fruit window?
Fruit window.
No.
They were brilliant.
What I mean
clue
is,
what went on.
I made sure I wore a shirt that had a pocket here ready for my list. So the first thing I watched, right? I actually watched the new Kevin Hart documentary on Netflix called Don't Fuck This Up, about his life and how he's one of the biggest stars on the planet at the moment. I probably wouldn't recommend it. It is so... I bet a lot of people out there have watched it, right? And it is so self-indulgent. It's beyond self-indulgent.
So
I
when's
watched
this?
that at work.
Have you watched
Yeah,
it?
I
So
watched it all.
when does this take place? Because didn't he recently?
Over
He's
the
only
last-
just come back.
Over the last 2
Didn't he
years.
break his back?
You're in a car accident.
Yeah.
It was before
that. Before that.
It's wild. It's over the course of when he got panned from Oscars, where they wanted him to apologise for some homophobic
Didn't he make
tweets.
some tweets? Yeah, because only reason I know that is because Ricky Gervais mentioned
Yeah.
it.
Well, no, he said in an interview years ago, his biggest fear in life is that his son grows up gay, which is a joke. But anyway, aside from all that, this documentary follows him. You know, he's having meetings with Chadwick Boseman, Idris Elba, producing movies, pitching things. You know, how he works out, his routines, his filming. And all it is all the way through is, I work hard, I work hard, I work hard. Kevin Hart works hard. You know what I mean? Non-stop. And another thing as well, he keeps going on about, like, at one point he's got his buddies that he's made a lot of money, he's given them a lot of money, they grew up with him. But one of his mates, right, tricks him. So basically his missus were 8 months pregnant and he shagged this woman in Vegas, and an old friend of his set it up and hid a camera in the corner of the room and blackmailed him. So when he was sat on screen, right, and he's crying and he's going, this is somebody I grew up with, this is somebody who I love, and he's disrespecting me and lied to me to get money. And I'm thinking, alright, but you've cheated on your 8 month pregnant wife, let's forget that. You've been blackmailed, poor you. You know what I mean?
He has a crew of his mates that he employs, who's basically come up with jobs for him, and it cuts to them all, and they're all going right dramatically, and they all basically say, if I'd have just been with him that night, I'd have helped it. Like, he's a target. I would have helped him.
He's a
say
tag
no.
teamer.
Yeah, and
but he's also
Bollocks.
he's also
I'd have been
saying,
at other end.
he's saying they made sure that woman approached me when I were on my own and I didn't have my boys to guide me and point me in the
But
right direction.
his dad used to be a really bad drug addict, and basically when it comes on screen you can tell. And he goes up to him, he says, Kevin, I need to borrow a bit of money. It's something I want to buy. And Kevin says, Dad.
He goes, he says, how much is it what you need? He goes, I'm gonna need about $7,000. And Kevin Hart goes, I'll give you 20.
It's like, why show that? He goes, Dad, I'll give you 20. But you just need to ask.
That's just gratuitous, isn't
yeah,
it?
but it's like that
You
the
wouldn't
whole
show
way
that,
through.
yeah.
And there's a bit, last episode, I don't want to spoil it, but I'm gonna.
Spoiler alert.
Skip on 10 seconds if you don't want to hear it.
He dies.
His co-workers, his mates, going to leave the office, and he's bought them all a retro car from years ago, and they're all in car park with the names on, and he's bought each of them one. And it's like, you're just watching it thinking, are you just trying to let us all know that you're minted?
One thing we all do, the podcast, Forget Work, Watch Films, but one thing we all do in life is work hard. And when you're watching some rich, successful guy, every episode telling you how he works hard, you lose interest. But anyway.
I suppose he's thinking, because I've not seen this, but I have seen bits of different bits of Kevin Hart.
It starts off showing about his
online
childhood
because
and
he does
his
a
life.
lot of videos of Kevin Hart. So I'm not surprised he's doing a documentary. But to me, he's like trying to get the message of you can have this if you work hard. But then it becomes like a parody in itself. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
When he's just like splashing money around, what are you supposed to think to that?
I was enjoying it a little bit at first, but as it went on, I thought, this is getting absurd now.
Starts off really emotional and showing how his mum struggled to bring him up and then she passed away, and it shows you all his background. But then when it gets up to current times, it stops with all this like explanation, and it's just him.
Yeah, I
showing
suppose
off.
he thinks that you're supposed to then think,
Like,
I've had this arse, now I've got it brilliant, you should be thankful. So if you got famous like that, what jobs would you give all us? What jobs would you give John? Kyle?
I'd leave group WhatsApp and I'd delete all your numbers.
So, another thing I watched, I'm going to skip over this because it's going to take too long, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. And I like Jay and Silent Bob and I love Kevin Smith, and I thought, I've got to give it a go, Anna. So Jay and Silent Bob is a product of all the View Askew universe, Kevin Smith's movies, Mallrats, Clerks, Dogma. Jay and Silent Bob reboot is utter shit. Utter shit. I wanted to turn it off.
I'm not being funny, but I think I love Kevin Smith, don't get me wrong. I did watch Clerks and Mallrats and that at a time because it was a time when comics weren't massive. He sort of like tried to bring comics into mainstream. We were a big like promoter of comics, but his films aren't great.
No, they're not.
And not one of them, even like Dogma, which has got good bits in it, they're not great.
Well,
but I love Kevin Smith and I love what he's got to say. But I think the only film I like is his Cop Out.
Well, a lot of people like Kevin Smith just because of his love for the genre, don't they?
Yeah, because he's like geek gone good, isn't he?
Well, no. Jay and Silent Bob should stay back in 90s and early 2000s because it doesn't translate well to nowadays. They look past it. The jokes don't land. It's awful. Right, next thing on my list. Right, I've only got a couple more. I've started watching the Netflix TV series The Witcher.
Right, not watched this yet.
I thought about watching that.
But I've heard massively good things about it, and it is on my list to watch.
Well, there's only 8 episodes, and I've not watched too many because I ain't got a clue what's going on. It's one I can't take it in.
Right, so I were expecting good things to come out of your mouth.
Yeah,
and it's not what I expected.
Put it this way, Henry Cavill, perfect. He looks, he already plays the part, brilliant. But it's you think Game of Thrones were a bit hard to grasp? This fucking is.
So from what I've seen, because I've not watched it,
and obviously it's based on a video game. You've not played that.
I think I did. But this is a long time ago. I played a lot of video games in my time.
I haven't played it. Well, I have briefly.
It looks very sword and sorcery type.
Yeah, it is.
Rather than Game of Thrones, it looks more like, I don't know, Conan the Barbarian.
Well, I think what it is you've got to think Game of Thrones is, even though it's got, dragons and everything, it's in a sense of reality.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Witcher is fantasy.
Yeah.
It is. It's medieval fantasy sort of thing. But
yeah.
Everyone's telling me they had the same experience because I'm only probably halfway through. They said once you get to the latter end of the show, everything clicks and you think this is brilliant. But
But you're not there
I can't
yet.
even tell you if I'm enjoying it or not. I just haven't got a clue what's going off.
Not seen it, Tom, not bothered.
I do want to watch it, and I have seen it on there, but I know it's not something she'll fancy. It's hard to commit to a TV show to watch them all every night when you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. I
There's
have
only,
that
there's
problem.
only 8 episodes.
Just wait for it to go to bed and put it on.
So,
Yeah.
I've only got a couple more on my list. Do you want me to keep going?
Oh, keep going, yeah, it's good, this.
So, quick one. I rewatched Blade Runner. That still holds up. That's really good. That
Great film.
Can't spend ages on that because we all know Blade Runner. Right, another film I watched. So, Gemini Man. Right,
You watched it.
Gemini Man.
You didn't
But-
jump in early when we were on about
No,
it.
because I wanted to save it, flesh it out a little.
Oh,
so,
God.
over Christmas, right? At home, I've got my projector set up and everything, Anna.
Yeah.
So I've upgraded to 4K now, right? 4K is the new big thing. But one of the flagpole films is Gemini Man, right?
Right.
So it's shot in 4K, HDR, 60 frames per second. It looks different to any other movie. And I put it on, and I thought, it does. It looks phenomenal,
Yeah.
right? But it's almost too good because it takes away that this is a movie. It looks like, so when Will Smith's running down the street in an action scene, he actually looks like a 50-year-old bloke that's struggling to run. There's no
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
You're gonna have to wait, next time you come to mine. I'm gonna have to show you in particular the things I'm on about and see if you agree. It just did not help the movie whatsoever. But it looked stunning. The special effects are absolutely horrendous. You know, the face mapping thing. So you
Yeah.
talk about Captain Marvel. Nick Fury is convincing start to finish. You forget he don't look like that, don't you?
Yeah.
Nick Fury.
Yeah.
But if I were to show you a clip from Gemini Man of Will Smith's face on this other guy, you would be shocked. You'd just be like, it looks like a video game. It is horrendous. So when you've got that in ultra crisp detail, it just looks, it's ridiculous. The story utter shit that falls apart within an hour. I was bored. I wanted to turn it off. Garbage, absolute garbage. So
It's funny you should say that about like 4K and that because we
thought,
were
I've gotta try
watching
it.
some other night and actor just looked rough as a badger's ass,
Yeah.
and I thought it's costing like HD.
yeah.
Sometimes I think it can take away from like some of these classic retro films when you watch it and it's a bit grainy because it adds to it. Do you know what I mean? Blade Runner 2042 that'd look good in 4K.
We look at Joker,
Isn't
the
it 2049? What?
24.
yeah, I could never get it wrong. It wasn't questions
No.
on Pointless, and I think I did get it right.
Amazing, that.
But Joker, that's filmed in an 80s way.
Yeah.
And that's what's good about it,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
a certain look.
But it's hard for me to explain. Most films, Blu-ray, 4K, they're all high resolution now. But Gemini Man looks different to any other movie out there. It looks like
I've got to come and have a look at your new.
it's like you're looking through a window. So when you're watching a sequence of Will Smith in an action scene, it genuinely looks like Will Smith acting. It doesn't look like a movie. So I'm not. In other films, you know, Infinity War, Endgame, that it makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
But in
yeah.
a film like that, Gemini Man, no, don't watch it. Save yourself 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not on my list, but
So
unless
on my
yeah,
final,
fair
on my final list that I've composed, because I've watched other stuff, but I nailed it down to this.
yeah.
1917.
Well, that leads in because you've seen this and all. I've not. So go on. What did you think?
Oh, it's incredible, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
And I know you think so, Tom.
I know,
Yeah.
you know what one bit? I literally, if I were a crier, I would have cried. But not even like sad tears, just like, it's just that gripping.
Yeah.
And you know how it's done in one scene, one take? Well, effectively,
So that was my next question. Is that what it is?
it's done in 2 takes, because there's a bit, I'll not spoil it, but it's essentially supposed to be done in 2 takes. But from the word go, the word go, when the guys are chilling out and then wake up, you're with them. And the camera never goes anywhere else. They get their orders. and it follows them through the trenches. They got told they've got to see this bloke. They go see him, then they've got to go there, and then they go over the ridge into the war zone. And when they get in there, you're just thinking, like, the stuff they see is brutal. It's amazing.
Obviously, can't do any spoilers because most people probably haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it, and I want to.
We're talking. I mean, this is January now, and this is award season. And 1917 is nominated for Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Movie. Mark my words, that's going to win them all.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I don't want to dismiss what you've been watching, Tom, but if we could just briefly move into the fact that it is coming up to Oscars, there's Grammys being on, 1917 is being talked about, but there's also one other film being talked about, which is obviously not surprising to us, but surprising for...
I think it is surprising. I
don't think it's surprising for it because we loved it and we could see what it were, but it's surprising for the industry, and that's Joker. Got the most nominations. What do you think to that?
Let me ask you, when you say it's not surprising to us, that's because obviously we've seen it. But if I'd have said to you this time last year that it'd go on to get nominated for like 11 Oscars, it'd been Min, you'd have thought, what?
I'd have thought you'd have been
Todd Phillips.
I'd have thought you'd have been taking cookies and chocolate from Carl.
Did you know it's the most nominated comic book movie of all time?
Yeah.
And not only that, it's the second best actor.
Well, it said that it figured it were DC's first superhero film to be nominated, and I thought
Suicide Squad,
and then but I think it was because Black Panther were nominated last year.
Well,
so it's not the first superhero one, but it's DC's first.
Well, Jared Leto's going to be out there kicking himself because Heath Ledger won an Oscar for the role of Joker, and now Joaquin Phoenix looks like he could win an Oscar for the role of Joker. It's all about writing. No, say what you want, but that film is a piece of work, innit? I know it's well thought out.
I know we've tangented off, and this is from what you were watching to Oscars, and I'm going to tangent off again slightly. Why, when they've got a film like that, are we then seeing Birds of Prey? I'm just going to throw that one in because seriously, I scratch my head. Head.
It's forecast to have a really good opening weekend.
I scratch my head with despair because you see that film, Joker, nominated. Is it 11 nominations?
I think so.
I thought it was 10, but I think
it's 11.
Yeah, it is 11.
And then you've got that. Looks horrendous.
Yeah, but they don't know what works, do they? But it also looks like it's females to have a chance at their own Deadpool. Have you seen the latest trailer?
No.
She's basically Deadpool. She narrates it. Oh, hey, me and Mr. J broke up, and this is my movie and all that shit.
No, it looks terribly. It
does. It looks terrible.
Mad.
That's coming up. That one to get nominated for an Oscar. I'll tell you that, which is why it's
I think Joaquin Phoenix should win the best Oscar for. He transformed himself for that. It was amazing.
He won the Grammy, didn't he?
Yeah, Golden Globe. Yeah,
Golden Globe. Sorry, not Grammy. How can he win a Grammy unless he was singing?
Do you know what we're gonna have to do? By the way, Oscars are coming up soon, and we'll do an Oscar special before it. I'll put a bit of a quiz together or something. But
I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah, this is
because it used to be on BBC. Barry Norman used to do it.
This is a topic for another time, the Oscars, because we could really go into it.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have to go through every category and predict our winners, aren't we? Come on, we're gonna have to do that.
I'll do that.
Podcast special.
We'll have an Oscar special. So,
part 1 and 2.
Back to what we've been watching, Tom.
I've watched a few things. I've been trying to think. I thought about writing it down, but then I didn't. Let me think. I wrote.
Gripping podcast right here.
Let me think about the film that I watched in chronological order. The first film I watched since the last podcast was The Irishman. And I thought it was absolutely amazing. I did.
So that's another one on my list to watch.
And you know what? We watched it together, and I knew it was going to be a bit of a... Obviously, we were in it for the long haul. So I got the plot up on my phone, and the minute we started to get a bit wobbly and weren't sure what was going on, I caught up with it, so I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, obviously I'm not going to spoil it, but it really takes you on a journey with these characters. And the facial recognition... the de-aging on the faces the structure, and by the end of the film, you just feel as though it's like, I don't know.
But this is what I'm saying.
There's no other film.
Have you
like
watched
that.
this one yet?
I got off through and fell asleep, but only because I was very tired, not because I weren't enjoying it. But this is what I'm saying with Gemini Man. If they can do a 4-hour film like that that's convincing, I need to show you this Will Smith thing. I seriously do.
Like, there's a bit, and you've got to watch it. And you know what? When you watch it, I know it's difficult, but watch it. Don't be watching it while you're doing this and doing that.
Yeah.
Because there's, you know, where you're watching a scene and something tense is happening, and you're just like, what is going to happen?
It's a different film.
That happens later on, and you're just like, Daisy's saying to me, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Like, what? It's just, I thought it was better than Goodfellas.
Do you know?
I thought it were immense.
The thing is, the unique thing with Irishman, right, is it's not Goodfellas and it's not it's not a gangster film. You know what it is, right? The guy in particular that the film's about, De Niro, it's a I can't remember what his name is in that film. And this is basically, this is your life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is basic. It's not a moment, a gangster moment. It's just, this is his life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a biography. It's not a gangster movie, which is what threw me off.
The opening scene, they're driving along, and Joe Pesci says to Robert De Niro, is that what I think it is? And across the road, it's a petrol station, and they stop and have a look, and then the scene changes, and it's them when they first met at this petrol station. But then when you see it, all of a sudden it changes to them in like the 30s meeting. It's just brilliant.
Although there is one moment where, I don't know if I've showed you, I don't think I have, De Niro goes to fuck this guy up for messing with his daughter, and he goes to this grocery store.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Back in day, De Niro's always scary. He comes hobbling out like an old man and kicks him the most pathetic way. It put me off massively. That, yeah, they can change the faces, but can't change the fact he's got the body of a 70-something-year-old. Really.
So,
I
does
don't
it
mind.
flick between different times, or does it
well,
follow a
basically,
chronological time?
I'd say it definitely follows a chronological time. It definitely does. So by the end of the film, that's the whole structure of it. But there are a lot of flashbacks in it. So, for example, one bit, Robert De Niro flashes back to when he's in the army. When it shows you him, he literally looks like he does in Taxi Driver. It's just immense. I really
I do
loved
want
it.
to watch it, but it's just, you've got to give it such
You've
a
got to
considerable
commit.
amount of
Basically,
time.
I had my eye on the clock, and I'd said she'd wanted to watch it. I says it's 7:30 now. I says, if we're going to watch it, we need to put it on now. If we put it on 8:30, 9 o'clock, it's going to be a struggle. But
The thing is, I was struggling with where we were and what were happening and who's who sort of thing, because there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
You know, like,
to tell you the truth, if you get the plot up as you watch it, it's not as complicated as it probably seems.
See, I know a bit about what
Jimmy
the story
Hoffa.
is about, and about Jimmy Hoffa and how he disappeared, and isn't it to do with taxi drivers and stuff like that?
Well, that's
at
just
one
part
point?
of business.
Yeah.
It's just part of one
But
of the jobs.
yeah. So I know a bit about that history, so
Oh
I'm
god,
hoping it
the
won't.
end is just so. Anyway,
I'm going to watch it properly.
I absolutely, seriously,
Well, it's on my list. It's a big list.
I loved it. What else did I watch? Moana.
I've seen it.
I've never seen it.
Seen it. It's alright. Put it on
It
for
were alright.
kids when we were at my brother's. And it's
So-
not. Rock's brilliant in it.
Yeah, he is.
Rock's
He
really
is,
good, yeah.
So we'd agreed on that. So next day I says, right, I'm picking a film now. So we went to put a film on, and we put The Lighthouse on.
Oh, you
No.
know what? I got this film because you ought to see. Have you seen out of it?
I don't know what you're on about.
It's Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
Oh.
the black
And
and
it's
white.
actually.
I've already seen it as
do you know what they've done? They've restored cameras from like first use cameras for movies, and the reviews for this film, they smashed it out at park. It's fantastic. It's incredible. It's a flag. You know, it's a whatever it is, a tentpole in movie making. You need to watch it. And see, my in-laws watched it, and he says, "Rob, you need to watch that film." Oh, is it good? Well, I just want you to feel the pain that I
So
So go on. So that should be on a fucking movie poster. That should be on a review. The Lighthouse. Watch it so you can feel the pain that I felt.
you know, about 10 minutes in, and I'm not going to lie, I liked the look of it. I thought it come across very...
So what's the story?
No, it's basically, the storyline is, it's a lighthouse, it's in the middle of nowhere, it's Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, and it's them fighting against turning crazy from being isolated on this on this dark island. I liked the look of it, and I thought it was very Hitchcock, very like, I don't know, I liked the vibe it was giving off. 10 minutes in, she says, "What the fuck is this shit?"
That should be up a review underneath. For 1 star.
So
What the
she
fuck
says,
is this shit?
she says to me, "I can't watch this, Tom," and she won't shut up. And I thought, put it on back burner. I'm gonna watch it next time.
I'll tell you something. It looks convincing though. Pattinson looks fantastic in that film.
It looks like a 1940s, like, you know, when you think of these top like old actors, who back in the day were like. Yeah, I don't know. You know, like James Dean, kind of Robert Redford when he was younger, and Paul Newman. It looks like that, and the way it's filmed, it looks very, and it's got a good look about it. But whether it'll be any good, I don't know. But I am going to watch it, and obviously we went to see 1917. And by the way, if you do go see that, I would definitely recommend watching it in IMAX.
Right,
it was just incredible. You do just the whole. You just feel like you're in a war zone watching it. And
I do want to see it.
But you know what? The interesting thing not interesting, but there's a lot of actors turn up in it, like British actors that you didn't know were in it.
Right.
It's
usual case with them.
Yeah. Did you ever
films.
get around to watching the Peanut Butter Falcon? You hadn't?
Yeah, I watched that. No,
that's on list.
That were amazing. From the minute that film started, you know this is my kind of film.
Yeah,
it started, and I just loved it. I loved how what's he called? What's it?
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. I loved how he looked in it. He was like this rough around the edges, kind of like.
He went into a mental institute.
He lost plot, didn't it? But in this film, he's on hard times, and he's like. He's fed up, and he's just, and then he meets this kid who's like just, and the minute I like adventure type films where they've got to get from A to B.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I just, it's like the Green Book. It's a bit similar to that because it's like they buddy up together.
I didn't like Green Book.
They buddy up, and they're an unusual pair, and then they get from A to B. The Peanut Butter Falcon. You know what? That's also similar to 1917. Some people show up in it who you probably recognise.
Well, that's what threw me in because I told you last time, didn't I, that there's somebody in it who we've actually met. And I said that knowing you're going to go and Google it, but you should watch it.
No, I didn't Google it. I still don't know who it is.
You should watch it and see when it comes up.
Well, that's a clue. I definitely want to see that.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I've watched, but no springs to mind. There will be.
Well, I'm just going to, because we're running out of time, so actually I'd actually only got one thing anyway, because I've been away, so I've been watching TV Premier Inn, but I did watch overnight Gone with 60 Seconds, Nicolas Cage.
Gone in 60 seconds, not Gone
Bring
with
Sally
60 seconds.
Bring Sally down.
Frankly, my dear, that's a rave film.
It's a good film, yeah.
I don't get that. Do you know what?
I always forget Vinnie Jones is in it.
Let me say this quick.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie.
I wanted to bring this up, but we ain't had time. So
go on.
It's 2020. We've just had New Year's Eve. You mentioned Nick Cage. Did you see what he did?
No.
He went to a little dingy pub in Somerset and spent New Year's Eve in there and bought everyone drinks all night.
You're joking.
No, you spend New Year's Eve with Nicolas Cage. That'd be fucking mint. You need to Google it.
Why do these things happen?
Apparently, he loves UK and he owns a house in Somerset, and he decided to take a drive and just stayed in a little pub. You have to pay £10 to be a member. It's £10 a year. So he just went in. They had selfies with all punters in pub. Where could he go in the world for New Year's Eve? New York, Thailand. He goes to Somerset.
He could go anywhere.
Yeah. You know what? 90s Nick Cage. I love his movies. Gone in 60 Seconds. I think that's year 2001, 2000 maybe. But that is a brilliant film.
Well, that was when he was sort of like to me, when he was at his...
Where he's good.
Yeah.
Us in here, you out there, caps. That's very good.
And Giovanni Ribisi's right good
Yeah,
in
his
it.
little brother, isn't he?
But I think Vinnie Jones is brilliant because
Yeah.
that was when he'd just done Lock, Stock, and he's like, Nicolas Cage just rung him up and said, "I wanted him in my film. I think you're brilliant."
I think it's fantastic.
Right, excuse me. So, time's up. Ding ding. Round 2. Speaking of round 2, we'll be watching.
Bad Boys.
Deontay Wilder.
Oh god, yeah.
That's coming up.
Conor McGregor tomorrow night. Right.
Right, we're going to be watching Bad Boys 3. We'll
Peace
be back
out, guys.
soon. I'd just like to say thank you.
Follow our Instagram. Forget Work, watch films.
See you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.